Hi, how are you? My name is Francis Fox, and I'm very upset. Today I was thinking because I had no obligations today having to do with my calendar. So I had time to think. And I was thinking about the 300,000 children. I'm sorry if I'm crying, that are missing, which I had not been able to talk about previously because nobody talked about that. And then, of course, that's now being talked about, which is good. We're getting there. So I started thinking, which I've always thought this, but I've never allowed myself to go down that road because it's too scary. If you can't fix something, why on earth are you going to throw yourself into it if you can't fix it? I guess that probably is what I did all those years when I was asleep. Just put your head down, keep moving forward. 300,000 illegal aliens, children, mainly Latin America, Central America, the islands. What happened to the parents? So you get 300,000 kids, and that's 600,000 parents, okay, that appear to not have said a word about the fact that they have a missing child. Oh, yeah, but it was illegal. They're not going to say anything. You know what? It wasn't that big a deal to be an illegal alien in the United States until Trump took over the reins of power. And it doesn't really matter what happened to their kid. But you don't just have that. You have four grandparents for each child. That's 1,200,000 adults. Now, most of you don't know what Hispanic parents are like. But there's a lot of jokes around about if your mother was Hispanic, it doesn't matter if you were 6 feet 5 and 35 years old. When your mother spoke, you paid attention. And you know that if your mother was in the other side of the world, she was always thinking of you. And I'm not saying that other people are not like that, but that's 1,200,000 adults that never said a word because a child that belonged to them, child, grandchild. And what about all of the godparents? What about all the cousins? I know. What about all the cousins? Because most people remember their cousins from when they were children. And they may not get along when they get older, but they still their cousin. What happened to my cousin? What happened to all these people that they're not claiming or screaming about 300,000 missing children? So, unfortunately, I had too much time to think today. It's almost killed me. So, I decided to map out the issue, which I do when I do business. And of course, interesting things come up. By the way, I didn't iron my shirt, but you know what? If you notice that and you're thinking she should have ironed her shirt, to hell with you. You are totally off base. 1,200,000 adults that are blood related to 300,000 missing children. Not a word? Huh. Talk about mind control. Let me show you the map that I did. And let me see if I can get my emotions under control. Okay? This is the map. Well, I like the fact that on the right it says Trump, no more, and there's a red line. Now, why is this set up like this? I just get a piece of paper and I start to sketch. But what you need to know is that other people that weren't me know that when you do this free sketching, freehand, and you just are not even thinking, what's in the upper left hand corner is past in terms of time. What's in the bottom left hand corner is stuff near past. Could have been last week, could have been last month, could have been last year. Once you hit the center, what's there is near future. Right smack in the center, I'm not exactly sure. And then when you get to the right, and I'm going too long on this, that's not important. I'm trying to teach you something so that you can do what I do, but this is not the time to do that. So at the top, it says in the far past, this has been happening since Reagan. It's the biggest secret, which I'm assuming is the biggest secret in this country. Okay. Reagan. When was Reagan around? Long time ago. And then in the near past, I got the words and I wasn't looking for anything. When I do this, I simply sketch, draw, put down words that I get. And it says Clinton involved, but not the wife. Okay. So I'm going to remind you that the one with all the sex scandals was the Clinton that we all like. He was the one that was sleeping inappropriately. And yet the person everybody hates is the wife. If you know about astrology and you know the astrological signs, I don't remember his, but she's a Scorpio. Scorpios are born to help deliver karma to people, to slap them around, to wake them up. Because there's something they're not dealing with. And Hillary Clinton is waking us up with something we haven't dealt with since Reagan. Then I continued. In the middle, I put, let me put it back up again, missing illegal children. Not just children, illegal children. What was shocking was that here I put negotiated settlements with other countries about the missing children. Now, does that mean that the presidents of those countries knew something? No. What I perceive is that when parents and grandparents and cousins said, my cousin, my child, my grandchild is missing, that there was a group that ensured that that complaint didn't get any place. So here we go back. Negotiated settlements with other countries about the missing children. Well, hell, that makes a lot more sense than thinking that you just disappear 300,000 children and that their parents just kind of let them go, their grandparents, their cousins, whatever. And then the last thing that I sketched was, which would be present. The present would be right in the center. Then it would be future. And Trump saying, no more. I know a little bit too much about this. I know too much from that paper, which I did not know that information. But I know a little bit about this. I don't know what year exactly it was, but it would have been probably when I was 12. And I was born in 48, so it would have been 1960. My control introduced me to Kennedy, our favorite president. And do you know how he introduced me? And I was there because they were using me as a demo to solicit funds for this wonderful program for increasing the IQ of children, which they did. And the excuse was that it was to introduce to the American educational system so that we would have really bright kids. And everybody wanted that. Of course, that was maybe at the time or after the time when they said we only use 3% of our mind, our brain, they were looking for the rest of it. They they found it, but they didn't turn it over to the educational system or to the nice people. So I was introduced to Kennedy as not an American child, very specifically. And I remember that. And I guess that kind of stuck. Why would he even bother saying that when there probably were a lot more important and interesting things to say? But he did say that. He introduced me as a child that was in this program, but I wasn't an American child. And then, of course, I was sex trafficked with Kennedy after that. That's not such a good thing because they did. Oh, God, that's not such a good thing. Well, I know it's not a good thing, but what I'm realizing is it's not a good thing. Wow. He didn't introduce me as a woman, even though I probably looked like a woman at that point. He introduced me as a child. Oh my God, it's 11:11 on the clock. That's very significant. He introduced me as a child that was not American. And then I ended up being turned over for sex with Kennedy, who I do not believe knew how old I was, but I'm now understanding that I was introduced to him as a child. You know what? I don't even want to go there. I wanted to avoid this part, but we need to get this whole children thing taken care of. So, where am I going with this? This opened up a whole Pandora's box in my mind, my brain. And then I'm not going to go into these things that I started to go into. Well, what the hell is going on with the dark side of the moon? Because it may have something to do with sex trafficking. What? I agree with you. I agree with you. What? That is so off base. Oh, okay. Okay. It's off base. Do you know why NASA was started? Oh God, I'm gonna get murdered if I'm not careful. Do you know why NASA was started? NASA was an intelligence operation. Oh, the space program. Look, the kids, spaceships. It was an intelligence operation. There's no question. You want to question it? Go ahead and question it. I know. I know. Okay. The kids that kind of were in the program that I was in, some of them were called space babies. Oh, okay. But it was an intelligence program. So what the hell is the intelligence community have to do with kids? Well, we're already finding out. But anyway, I just gave you a lot of information. Trump, I hope you're listening. The important people, I hope you're listening. And I hope that all these revelations don't end up costing me. Okay. So if I had my show properly produced, I'd have a little music here and you'd know we're going to go into another topic. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. I preempted Alex Jones. Remember I told you that what's going on in the Pacific, where there's a portal, seems to be aligned with something from off planet. And that it had something to do with bombs that were placed there purposefully. And anyway, Alex Jones was saying something about that today. I didn't even bother listening. I can only deal with a certain level of these issues and deliver shocking news just enough. He can cover the rest of that, even though I don't know. I think Alex Jones is really, really, really good. But we do need answers, not just simply revelations of everybody behaving poorly. Oh, no, I didn't finish with the kids. I have two stories to tell you. I have no idea what year it would have been. But from 1 minute to the next, and it wasn't the Mariel boat lift, from 1 minute to the next in Cuba, the people were climbing into whatever waterproof thing they had, because some of them weren't even boats or raft, to come over to the United States. It was like this wave. And I looked at that and I said, this doesn't feel right. There's something fishy going on here. And I just let it float because I didn't really want to go there. But basically, that was a mind control operation. Now, how did they do that? The whole thing with frequencies and beaming stuff into your head. Maybe they beamed into all these people's heads that if they didn't climb on a boat that would probably not make it to Florida, that they would all die. I have no idea. But it was a mind control program. So now let's go back to 1,200,000 parents, grandparents of 300,000 missing children. And we have to not just consider, but we have to know that that was a mind control program. You cannot, you can't have that many Hispanic children lost. Do you know that Hispanic children have less ADD than Anglo children in this country? But I think a lot of it has to do with, listen, kid, pay attention. Sit down at this table and have dinner with us. I really don't care what else you want to do. It's a different way of raising them. I'm not saying whether it's better or it's worse. Well, I do think it's better, but that's not the point here. The point is, those people do not let go of their kids that easily. But how about all of us that were mind control victims and our children went through hell? How about all of you that were asleep? How could you have been this is since Reagan, and I do trust my sketching. I do. Since Reagan? And you didn't notice? Mm. So this whole mind control thing, you need to get this looked into, analyzed, and taken care of. You have this whole batch of people, the thing in Cuba where everybody already started to get into anything that would float for 2 minutes to come to Florida. That's one thing, and that's like, it was weird. Mind control. 1,200,000 adults just letting go of their child, even when they just, and then but before that, I don't really know of a lot of Hispanic parents that would send their children over like that. First place, if they didn't care about their children, why did they pay the thousands of dollars they had to pay to the human trafficker to bring their kid over? It doesn't add up. The only thing all of this blankety blank stuff adds up to is mind control, and an entire nation, but not just this nation, but I'm here, so we're going to talk about this nation, totally asleep. Instincts gone. I am furious and upset. I asked the Montristas to give me healings. I'm not sure that they actually heard it. Okay. This chat is for entertainment purposes only. Because somebody's going to take me to court at some point. Okay. On my Facebook page, my personal, because you have to have a personal to have a business. Okay. In the last month, I get up on my Facebook page and it says, do you need help? Are you in trouble? Let me see what else it says. I'm going to read it to you directly. Oh my God. Okay. I'm here. Well, it's not up this time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll give me a second. So it says my Facebook page. It'll take a minute. Um, oh, come on. Well, it's not going to come up this time. Of course. No, it's not coming up this time. Okay. I've seen it at least 20 times. Do I need help? Am I suicidal? And I thought, what? Well, we're here to help. I'm not suicidal. Got it? But I can tell you that in this country, you're not allowed to talk about suicide. What the hell is that all about? Who came up with that? Who allowed it? Why can't you talk about suicide? Especially since our alien enemies know how to send viruses that are for you to commit suicide. So then there's like a wave of suicides, but not so much. I'm sure the suicide rate goes up, but more people are walking around limping because they would like to kill themselves. They don't want to live. This time I need the Kleenex because I'm crying. And you know something? It's interesting because sinuses is unshed tears. I really didn't know I had sinus issues. My dentist told me because when he just opened up a little bit to put in a dental implant, he said all this liquid came out, which was from my sinuses, he told me. Of course, I have a lot of unshed tears. I'm a Cancer, mother of the zodiac. And I had to live through what I lived through. And then I had to see this. And then for years, not say anything because you can't. We should never call this country the land of the free and the brave because some people were not brave. Okay? Some people are, some people aren't. But too many people were not brave and they just allowed all of this stuff to happen. But mind control is a treacherous thing. I'm going to take that statement back. Um, 1,200,000 Hispanic males and females with a child that was either their child or their grandchild totally disappears. And nobody said anything of that 1,200,000 parents and grandparents. No, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know there's something going on there. And it is not the fault of the Hispanics because the American children are also getting lost. And we all know, oh, gee, your car gets stolen, it goes off over a state line, and that's it. They're sending out the troops. Your kid gets lost, and you can't do anything for 24 hours. And after that, you're not going to get any place. This country is totally controlled by people who want children. What are they using them for? Well, sex, orgasm. We're not going to go into that. Got it? What else? What else are they using them for? To pick beans and cotton? I don't think so. And I think when we find out, we are going to be, and I don't want to even look into that. But the dark side of the moon might be an interesting place to kind of, and I don't know why I'm saying that. And that's the truth. I don't know what's going on in the dark side of the moon, the other side of the moon, what's going on in the moon. But that came up when I was doing all of this. So, Trump, is that outside of your zip code? I'm sure it is. But maybe. I'm calming down. I asked a lot of my followers, some of my followers that are here to please give me a healing. Captain Switch, is your name Danielle? I have somebody who's the only person in my maybe 15 years of doing purifications who said that what I did didn't work and I had to give them a refund. I've never had that happen. I've had people who have said to me, I don't know that anything really changed. One in particular, and I'm going to just say it because it's kind of cute. She was a person that basically didn't go out of her house. And so I said to her, Okay, because that was years ago when I used to actually talk to people. She said, "No, I don't feel any difference, but I can tell you this." I said, "But something has to have changed." Well, she said, "No, not really, because you know what? The people at work are just as abusive as always, but I didn't allow it. I went ahead and I talked, and I went, you got some of your personal power back." So what I did work. It was kind of interesting. She hadn't noticed. I don't know what she thought. Something was going to drop on her head. She was able to claim some personal power. I think she was in a wheelchair. Anyway, interesting. So I think the whole issue of mind control is basically bottom, top, left, right, front, back, having to do with how could everything get this bad? If my sketch is correct, this has been since Reagan. If my sketch is correct, we have negotiated settlements with other countries about the missing kids. Do we have good news? Yes, I have good news. I'm able to do some stuff that I normally can't do, which I can sit at my computer and I can actually think. I've been able to set stuff up today because I had time to think that 6 months ago I wanted to do and I couldn't. My head wasn't clear enough. I think that means that a lot of the people that try to keep me down are basically not able to do it anymore, or have bigger problems such as keeping themselves out of jail rather than keeping me down because it's not going to work. So that's the good news, and that's really good news because your mind creates reality. And people that know more about the mind than what the nice people in the US government know basically have it all over everybody. 1,200,000 Hispanic parents and grandparents. We haven't counted all the cousins. And we haven't heard from them. Where's my cousin? Where's my grandkid? Where's my child? Well, he's illegal. You shouldn't have sent him. No, no. What did they do to everybody else? What did they do to you? Everybody that's listening, what did they do to you? What reality are you buying into that is not a reality at all, or is only part of the reality that you are living? Okay, do you know that my chats and podcasts are for entertainment purposes only? Right? So I can't get into trouble. I'm just making up a story. We can do a little movie about that. Okay? I don't know quite where to go from here. This whole thing with Clinton involved, but not the wife, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. The problem is that we don't like the wife. Why don't we like the wife? Well, she's a Scorpio, and Scorpios slap you around until you wake up throughout history. So her behavior, the fact that we don't like her, the fact that whatever, she's slapping us around until we wake up. And then charming husband getting away with everything. Okay, so we're going to end this here because I've made my chats and podcasts too long and I am exhausted, except I didn't do the map. So we got to do the map and then we're gone. Today, you know what? Emotions, water is emotions. Today, I was so dehydrated. I looked like I was 90 years old. I look like a prune. It's like, what's going on here? Of course, I wasn't allowing my emotions to flow through me because this is too upsetting. 300,000 children. That's 300,000 mothers who just let go of their kid, who paid a human trafficker several $1,000s to bring their kid over here. And the people that were supposed to receive that child, we haven't heard from them. I did years ago have several people call me when I would take that kind of a call, which I don't take any calls anymore. And they would say that their cousin came over the border and now the cousin's missing. And she did make it over the border. They paid a smuggler. And somebody always had that person kind of like sequestered, trapped, in prison. And then I would just, and then there was nothing more I could do, or the person that was paying me for me to locate their missing cousin that they were waiting to receive. But again, 300,000 mothers, 300,000 fathers. And that for each kid, there's 4 grandparents. 2 on the mother's side, 2 on the father's side. So everybody got put to sleep. Because I can guarantee you, they did not pay 1,200,000 people money to shut up. They did pay government people in those countries. But we can't blame those countries. That money came from here. What budget is that coming out of? Let's go to the map. Thank you, Mantritas, for giving me the healing. I do feel less broken. Captain Switch, I really don't like it when people do what you're doing. I don't like it. You have an icon as if you're a man. You give yourself a name as if you're a man. Now you're saying that you're a woman. Fine. But you know what? Just don't talk on my chats. I'm up to here with people pretending to be something else. I don't like it. And I think you can understand that. So don't do that. Just disappear or don't put any comments on my chats here or any other place. In other words, you are totally illegitimate. We don't need that. Oh, this is for entertainment purposes only. For all I know, you're trying to get information to take me down. So if you present again, I'm going to tell the Mantristas to go to Plan B. Do you want to know what Plan B is? Those of you that are listening or watching? Plan B in my movement is we get the person's spirit, which is separate from the body, and we take them to the waters south of the island of Puerto Rico. And we turn them over to the dolphins and whales that are there and say, take care of this person because he's bothering us. You want to know something? So get off of my chat. You can listen. We're going to have to do Plan B with you. And it's funny because when people hear us say, somebody will say in the chat, Francis, I think we need to do Plan B. And then I check to see what's going on. People think we're going to do something god awful. We don't. We take them to a place that is sacred, which I know you don't know Puerto Rico is sacred. Because you want sacred to be modern. And well, I'm not going to go into that. Let's do the map. You know, there's just so much I can share in one day. Here's the map. Canada, X'd out, that means black magic. It could be black magic galactic. We have Mexico, black magic. Cartels, I'm sure, are having a field day, or the people that the cartels pay are having a field day, getting a lot of money, doing black magic to keep Mexico and the president weak so that they can basically take over the country. And you know about, or maybe you don't know about, all the gold in the south of Mexico. Then we have the pyramids, the Mayan pyramids coming up from the Gulf, in the Gulf of America, but we have them next to the East Coast, and that to me is worrisome. That to me means potential trouble. Okay, let me go into that a second. When I started to sketch the pyramids in the Gulf of Mexico, which is one of the things that we used to stop the power of the tsunami 2 days ago with visualization, When I saw that, I went, that's interesting. What's going on there? It's got to be something. And then within a couple of months, it was in the news that there was something very weird happening in the seafloor next to Florida. And I went, there's something going on. And those pyramids come up to stabilize. Okay, but then we have the pyramids came up today on the east coast of the United States. So something is going on, and it doesn't necessarily mean in the sea. I don't know what it means. Maybe I'll look into it. And then the other thing is that we have spiraling counterclockwise the creativity, that's not it. The creativity, that orange in the United States. And I really don't care if anybody, Prince is in love with Trump. I can't stand him. You want to know something? It's okay. This is entertainment purposes anyway. Um, that's the creativity. Because in order to make it through this time in written human history, we got to be really creative because things have changed. Anyway, I am finished. I feel better. Thank you, Mantritas, for the healing because it has made a very big difference. The United States, no, the entire world will never be the same again. Okay? Because everything is coming up, everything's getting revealed. Look at this. This is revelations. This has been going on since Reagan. When was Reagan president? This is revelations. And then I need to say and remind you that bad people and bad things that happen have to happen in order for people to wake up. So we have Clinton wife, everybody hates her. We know that. And then I sketched this and I wasn't looking for Clinton. Believe me, I'm not looking for anything when I do that except information having to do with the missing illegal children. And then you have who knows how many American children are missing. And what came up was the guilty person is him, not her. Nobody's going after him. Who are they going to pick up first? They're going to pick her up. But she's not the big issue. Oh yeah, but he looks good. Oh yeah. If you saw Jesus Christ the way he really looked, you wouldn't think he looked good. You've whitewashed him. And I'm not talking skin. You whitewashed him. And then he's okay. The physical dimension is really, okay. Thank you for listening. Be part of the repairing process. Ask, why do we need this issue? Why in your personal life, not just in politics and these things? Why do I need this problem? What am I not seeing? What do I need to address that I don't think is that important or I'm not even aware of? And then you will be able to get to where you need to go, which is going, oh, okay. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Ah, Captain Switch, we're going to do a plan B on you. I need assistance. Plan B with me because nobody helps me. You're homeless. Well, you're going to have a lot of dolphins and a lot of whales working with you now. Do not come back to my chats in terms of sharing. Okay? Thank you for listening.